Hello students, myself Abhilash. Today we are going to discuss fifth chapter of first PU biology, that is morphology of flowering plants. Introduction. Morphology is the branch of biological science that deals with the study of form, size, color, structure and relative position of various parts of an organisms. Importance of morphology. Knowing Knowledge about morphology is essential for recognition or identification of plants. Morphology gives information about the range of variations found in species. Deficiency and toxicity symptoms are morphological changes that occur in response to shortage or excess of minerals. Parts of flower. All the flowering plants have root, stem, leaves, flower and fruits. The underground parts of flowering plants are the root system and the portion above the ground forms the shoot system. If we deal with root system, in dicotyledonous plants, elongation of radicals form the primary root which bears lateral branches of several orders called secondary roots and tertiary roots. Primary roots along with lateral roots forms taproot system. It is common in all dicotyledonous, which includes mustard and gram. In monocotyledonous, primary root is replaced by large number of roots at the base of stem called fibrous root, which is seen in wheat and rice. Then the roots that arises other parts of the plant beside radical are called adventitious roots. Example grasses, banyan tree, maize, etc. The main function of root system is absorption of water and minerals from soil, providing proper anchorage to the plant parts and storing reserve food materials. Regions of root. If you see root, the root region consists of root cap. Above this, we have region of meristematic activity, then region of elongation, region of maturation. In maturation region, we have root hairs. The apex of root is covered by a thimble-like structure called root cap. It provides the protection to the tender apex of the root while making the way throughout the soil. Above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity, having small cells with dense cytoplasm. The part above the region of meristematic activity is called region of elongation, where cells undergo elongation and enlargement to increase its length. Lastly, we have region of maturation. It contains root hairs that help in absorption of water and minerals. Modifications of root. Roots are modified for storage of food, nitrogen fixation and aeration and mechanical support. If we see the root modification in first picture, we will observe prop root of banyan and stilt root of maize and sugarcane have supporting root coming out from the lower node of stems. Where in the case of in second picture we will observe rhizophora. They are the pneumatophores, helps to get oxygen for respiration as it grows in swampy or marshy areas. Then roots, that is the tap roots that help for root modification, that is conical root in case of carrot, fusiform root in case of radish and napiform root in case of turmeric. All these roots that are helpful for storage of food substances. Then we move on with stem. It is the ascending part of axis bearing branches, leaves and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo. Stem bears nodes and internodes. The region of stem where leaves are born called nodes and the portion between the two nodes are called internodes. In this picture we will observe both nodes as well as the internodes. The main function of stem is spreading branches, bearing leaves, flowers and fruit. It also contains water and minerals from root to leaves and product of photosynthesis. Some stem perform special functions like storage of food, support, protection and vegetative propagation. Then we have underground stem modification, rhizome in case of ginger, corm in case of colocasia, bulb in case of onion and tuber in case of potato. Then modifications of stem. Here we have a detailed account. Underground stem of potato, ginger, turmeric are modified to store food. They are also acts as organ for permeation in favor unfavorable condition. Stem tendril helps plants to climb as in case of cucumber, pumpkins as well as grapes. Axillary buds of the stem may be modified into woody, straight and pointed thorns as in citrus and bougainvillea. Parts of arid regions modify their stem to flatten in case of opuntia and fleshy cylindrical structure in case of euphorbia, having chlorophyll for their pigments, that is photosynthesis activities. So this is a structure of leaf. A typical leaf consists of the petiole, that is a stalk of leaf, leaf base, stipule and larger portion we call them as leaf lamina. So leaf is a green, dissimilar, exogenous, lateral, flattened outgrowth which is borne on the node of stem or its branches, is specialized to perform photosynthesis. If you see the structure parts of the leaf, leaves originate from the shoot apical meristem and are arranged in acropetal order. The typical leaf consists of three parts: leaf base, petiole and lamina. Leaf is attached to stem by leaf base, which may be a two small leaf-like structure called stipule. Middle prominent vein in is called midvein. Veins provide radially to the leaf plate and acts as a channel for transport of water and minerals. The arrangement of veins and veinlets in the leaf lamina, we call them as venation. So there are two types of venations have been observed, that is reticulate venation and parallel venation. In reticulate venation, veins and veinlets forms a network, but here this network of arrangement of veins and veinlets is absent. In reticulate venation, veins are arranged irregularly, but in case of parallel, the veins are arranged parallel to each other. Reticulation venation is common in all the dicotyledonous plants, whereas parallel venation is common in all the monocotyledonous plants. So types of leaves. Leaves are of two types, simple and compound. Once again, compound leaf are divided into pinnately compound and palmately compound leaf. So the leaf having single or undivided lamina is called simple leaf. In this figure, in first diagram, we are going to observe this as a simple leaf. Next example, mango, guava. When the incision of lamina reach up to the midrib and breaking it to a number of leaflets, it is called compound leaf. In compound leaf, there are two categories. One is pinnately and another one is palmately compound leaf. In pinnately compound leaf, the number of leaflets are present on the common axis called rachis. Example in case of neem. So in this picture, we will observe the pinnately compound leaf. Then we move on with palmately compound leaf. The leaflets are attached to the common point. Example, silk cotton. So in this structure, we are going to observe the palmately compound leaf. Then we move on with phyllotaxy. It's a pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branches. Here we have three types of phyllotaxy. Alternate phyllotaxy, in which the single leaf arises on each node, as in case of hibiscus, that is China rose. So here in this picture we will observe alternate phyllotaxy, where in the case of opposite phyllotaxy, a pair of leaves arises from each node and they are alternate to each other. So this is about alternate phyllotaxy, where in the case of oral phyllotaxy, the leaves are arranged in particular group. This is known as the oral phyllotaxy. Then we have inflorescence. Inflorescence is arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. This is known as inflorescence. Inflorescence is mainly of two categories. One is racemose as well as cymose. In case of racemose inflorescence, the older flower is at the base and the younger flower is at the tip. where in the case of cymose it is exactly opposite, in which the older flower is at the tip and younger flower is at the base. In racemose, the tip of the inflorescence axis is continuous, but here in the case of cymose it is tip is ended with the flower. So this is about the differences between racemose and cymose inflorescence. As we earlier told, in racemose the main axis is continuous to grow, but where in the case of cymose the main axis is terminates in flower having limited growth. In racemose, flowers are born laterally in an acropetal succession. In cymose, flowers are born in basipetal succession. Racemose example radish and cymose example jasmine. Then we have a flower. Flower is a reproductive part of angiospermic plants that mainly help for sexual reproduction. A typical flower consists of four whorls, that is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. When the flower have both androecium and gynoecium, such flower we call them as bisexual. When the flower is either androecium or gynoecium, that means if the flower consists of male part, that is staminate, if the flower consists of female part, that is pistillate. So hence those flowers are known to be unisexual in nature. Then based on the position of ovary with respect to the floral parts of thalamus, the flowers are categorized into three parts: hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous flower. In hypogynous flower, ovary occupies the highest position. The ovary in such case is superior. Example: mustard, brinjal, and China rose. Where in the case of perigynous, the gynoecium is situated at the center and other parts are in the rim at the same point. So here gynoecium is of superior and of inferior. In case of epigynous flower, the margin of the thalamus grow completely over cover the ovary. That means the ovary is inferior. Then we move on with four orals. The first orals is calyx, which is the outermost oral of the flower. Its members are known as sepals. They are generally green, leafy, and protect the leaf at bud stage. The calyx is compared to smaller when we compare with corolla. If the calyx are fused, we call them as gamosepalous, that is, calyx consists of sepals, or if sepals are free, we call them as polysepalous condition. So then corolla. Corolla consists of petals. They are brightly colored, attract to insects for pollination. They may be gamopetalous or polypetalous. The gamo means when petals are fuses. In first picture, we observe that the petals are fused to each other. In case of polypetalous, the petals are free and they are not united. Then, the mode of arrangement of sepals on or petals on the floral bud with respect to other members of the same oral, we call them as aestivation. Aestivation is various types. First, we will discuss in valvate aestivation. This is the structure of valvate aestivation. When the orals of sepals and petals are just touched to each other, as in the case of calotropis. Calotropis ಅಂದರೆ ಎಕ್ಕದ ಗಿಡ. So here the one petal or one sepal just that touches to each other. Next, in twisted aestivation. So this is a twisted aestivation, second picture. In twisted aestivation, the orals overlap to each other as in the case of hibiscus. So one petal or one sepal are overlapped to each other in twisted aestivation. So next one is third one is imbricate aestivation. This is the imbricate aestivation in which the margin overlap one each other but not in particular fashion, and this is seen in Gulmohar species. Then last one is vexillary or papilionaceous aestivation. So here in this case the flower have five petals or sepals. Two are larger and united. Okay, if you see this example correctly, in peep and beans plants there are five petals. The largest petal called standard, which overlaps the two larger petals called wings, which in turn overlap two smallest anterior petals called key. Then we move on with the male part, that is androecium. It's a male part of flower, consists of stamens. Each stamen have two parts, that is fertile. A fertile part is called anther, which bear pollen grains, and non-fertile stalk-like structure is called filament. This anther, if we take a section, the anther consists of pollen sacs. Inside the pollen sac, we have pollen grains. When stamens are attached to the petal, it is known as epipetalous in case of brinjal. When stamens may be free, that is polyandrous, or may be united in one bundle, we call them as monoadelphous, or may be united in two bundle, we call them as diadelphous. So in this structure, this all are one bundle and this one is separated, so there are two bundles of stamens are arranged, hence we call them as diadelphous. And sometimes many stamens are united, hence that condition we call them as polyadelphous condition. Next we have gynoecium. Gynoecium is a female part of the flower which consists of stigma style ovary, and ovary is arranged on thalamus. uh, Stigma is the receiving part of the gynoecium, whereas within the ovary ovules are present, and this is the region where fertilization occurs. Then placentation. Placentation is a phenomenon in which arrangement of ovules within the ovary is called placentation. In that, first one is marginal placentation. In marginal placentation, ovules in marginal placentation, ovules are arranged on a single row. This is seen in the pea plant. Whereas in axial placentation, the ovules are arranged from the center of the ovary, which consists of locules. So here we have three locules are there in case of lemon. So this is a trilocular, and the ovules are arises from the center. This is seen in hibiscus as well as lemon. Next one is parietal placentation. In parietal placentation, the ovules are arranged or attached to the inner wall of ovary, and this is seen in papaya plant. Whereas in free central placentation, the ovules are arranged at the center. And lastly, we have basal placentation. The ovules arises from the base of the ovary. Then we have fruit. This is formed after fertilization. Fruit is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If a true fruit is formed without fertilization, such fruit are known as parthenocarpic fruit. Parthenocarpic fruit, which includes, we have a best example for parthenocarpic fruit is banana. Fruit consists of seeds and pericarp. Thick and fleshy pericarp is three layer, that is epicarp outermost layer, mesocarp middle layer, and endocarp is inner layer. Then we move on with seeds. Dicotyledonous seed is made up of a seed coat and an embryo. Embryo is made up of embryonal axis called radicle and cotyledon. The seed coat has two layers. Outermost layer is called testa and innermost layer is known as tegmen. Hilum is a scar through which seeds are attached to the ovary. Seed have small pore above the hilum called micropyle. Then we have monocotyledonous seed. In monocotyledonous seed, outer covering of endosperm separate the embryo by a proteinaceous layer called aleurone layer. Single cotyledon is called scutellum, having a short axis bearing plumule and radicle. Plumule and radicle are closed inside the sheaths called as coleoptile. It is a root covering portion, and coleorhiza is a shoot covering portion. Then we have some technical terms that are used in to describe the floral diagram. So here we have some parts. BR stands for bractate, K stands for calyx, C stands for corolla, P stands for perianth, A stands for androecium, and G stands for gynoecium. Fusion is indicated by enclosing the figure within the bracket and adhesion by a line drawn above the symbols of the floral parts. Then we have family Fabaceae. This family was earlier known as Papilionoideae. Herbs, shrubs, or trees roots with root nodules are included. The leaves are pinnately compound with reticulate venation. This means they are dicot in nature. This is a floral formula and floral diagram. So these plants are mainly used for economic purposes to obtain gram, bean, pea and edible oils like groundnut and soya bean. Then we have Solanaceae. It is a dicotyledonous plants and they are known as potato family. They are taproot with reticulate venation and they are bisexual. Many of them these plants are used for vegetable purposes which includes potato, tomato, brinjal and this in this Solanaceae there is a special feature that is persistent calyx is present. Then family Liliaceae, it is a monocotyledonous family, commonly called onion family, which is having fibrous root system with parallel venation and onion stores reserve food material that is food substances and it includes ornamental plants that is tulip, medicine plants that is aloe vera and some vegetables. Then we will look out on some neat questions. Rearrange the following zones as seen in the root in vertical section and choose the correct option. Option A root hair zone, option B zone of meristems, option C root cap zone, option D zone of maturation, option E zone of elongation. For this the correct answer arrangement is come from C B E A D, that is root cap zone followed by zone of meristems and followed by zone of elongation followed by root hair zone and finally we have region of maturation. Why? Because the typical root possess five parts or their regions. First one is root cap which covers the root meristem. Then we have growing point or meristematic zone which produces new cells for the root cap or basal region of the root. Third one we have region of elongation in which cells are newly formed which lose the power of division. Fourth one root hair, the zone which represents zone of differentiation. Finally we have region of mature cells. Then in an inflorescence, second question, where flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession, if the flowers is youngest, floral bud shall be. For this, the correct answer is distal region because in acropetal succession, the younger floral buds is towards growing point and oldest is towards the basal region. Then, the mature seeds of the plant such as gram and peas possess no endosperm because for this correct answer is endosperm gets used up by the developing embryo during the seed development. Reason is maturity of dicot seeds which include pea or gram. A few of monocot seed includes orchids. They are known as non-endospermic or ex-albuminous seeds because the endosperm consumed during the seed development and the food is stored in cotyledons and other regions. Next, roots developed other parts of the plant than radicle. Yes, it is a easy bit, that is adventitious root. Then, fifth question. The venation is a term used to describe the pattern of arrangement of option A floral organs, option B flower in inflorescence, veins and vinelets in leaf lamina, and option D all of them. So the correct answer is the arrangement of flowers. The venation is defined as the arrangement of veins and vinelets on the leaf lamina. Option C. Sixth question. Endosperm is a product of double fertilization in angiosperm is absent in. It is absent in only in this one species, that is orchids. Then many pulses of daily use belongs to which family? Solanaceae, Fabaceae, Liliaceae, Poaceae. So the correct answer is Fabaceae. Then the placenta is attached to the developing seed near the testa, hilum, micropyle and chalaza. For this the correct answer is hilum. Thank you.